Okay, Caroline, let's see you do an intro then. And go.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Hypothetical Nonsense.
Today we talked about
Futurama. Today we talked about Simpsons. Today we talked about Yellow Family Guy. Today we talked about Yellow Simpsons. Today we talked about Orange Simpsons. Today we talked about House of Anubis. Today we talked about iCarly. Today we talked about the iCarly. Today we talked about the chicken wing. And today we talked about the applesauce. Enjoy the episode.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hypothetical Nonsense podcast where everything is fake and nothing. Give me my phone. Let me just tell you. Oh. Let me just tell you guys. You don't have to. What the fuck? Stop. Let me tell you about these. Let me tell you about
these real quick.
So
first of all,
I can't wait until we're
talking.
Oh fuck.
What the fuck? Are you good?
I can't wait to go. One of these days we're gonna make it. We're gonna go to the Oscars, okay? The three of us, and we're gonna be there. And once we accept our Grammy, I'm gonna give a crazy speech, drunk. I'm gonna get shit faced, and I'm gonna give I'm preparing for my drunken like speech about how much I love you guys.
That's awesome. How are you gonna get past the 2-drink minimum?
2-drink minimum?
I just made that
drink
up.
3.
But if there is a 2-drink minimum, how are you gonna get drunk off the 2 drinks?
But doesn't minimum mean like bottom?
That's why I said maximum. So
yeah,
how are you gonna get through the 2-drink maximum?
You
can use my drink card.
Wait, did you?
I can't pregame the Grammys?
Did you know that Trey Parker and Matt Stone, creators of South Park, once showed up, I believe, to the Oscars in dresses, both high on acid, both tripping on acid?
I remember seeing that. That was I saw an interview about that. That was cool. Today we're watching The Simpsons and Futurama.
Today we're discussing them because we already watched them.
Oh, we did watch them. And if you saw our community post, then you also might have watched them too. I'm gonna make a community post. Just like
thanks, Will.
Just like, oh, these are the episodes we watched.
Imagine he forgets and people are like, where's the community post?
No, I'm gonna put
go on Rooster Teeth First show to get the community post.
No, that's not a real website.
Pay $5 to get the community post.
Only friends.today.
That's merch, right?
Yeah, it is.
Go to Smosh.com.
If you want a t-shirt like this.
Just for some fun stuff.
Go to irs.gov and pay your damn taxes.
iCarly.com.
Has any of you recently paid your Texas tag? I certainly have.
No, I need to do that because all of the shit keeps going to my
Yeah, do you have bill collectors?
Debt collectors are hitting my line like once a month. They know me by name now.
Y'all going through the tolls?
Not anymore, but in the beginning I was. And now I'm like, if there is a toll road, I'm like, do I really need to go there? No, there's no reason to go anywhere.
I'll add that extra 3 minutes.
3 minutes?
To avoid that toll.
It'd be adding like 10 minutes.
Because if there's traffic,
where are you going?
There's traffic, yeah.
Cedar Park?
Yeah, if you're going north.
Oh, I'm just going to the movie theater.
Yeah, that's the way to the mall, downtown. The AMC is not.
Downtown.
I'm not going there.
Downtown.
That's Petula Clark.
There she coming all over my face. Let's talk about it. Okay, so
life is making you lonely.
Simpsons
you can always go.
is a classic family movie show that everyone loves, and Futurama.
Man, we need to reverse your lobotomy because this shit is crazy.
It's like a vasectomy. It's just something you reverse.
Yeah, we need to unscrew out your brain.
No, you blow it up like a balloon with like air. You go.
You actually put gum in the place that it was drilled, and you stick it on there.
It's like tack. You know when you have when you get a hole in the wall and you have to spackle.
You spackle your brain back.
No, I'm kidding.
No, it's okay.
So I'm gonna do the intro.
No, what happens is I need to start thinking before I start talking. Because I'll start talking without a sentence, and I'll kind of let the sentence come on to me, and it tells.
Okay, so
off your face. Oh, there's so much.
There was a podcast
for your skin.
Really, the proteins and the lipids.
We discussed the differences between Family Guy and American Dad. In this episode, we're going to be talking about The Simpsons and Futurama. Now, let me just say, I personally prefer The Simpsons and Futurama to Family Guy. It's a very, very different style of humor, so I'm not gonna say one is better than the other. They're very different. And I will say, before we get into it, I think that The Simpsons is better than Futurama, but I think that Futurama is a more creative show, and it's a little bit more entertaining because it's so different. Like,
I got my teeth fucked.
Yes. And now Sammy, I believe, would like to speak.
I didn't get this far. So Simpsons is a best family gimme show.
Caroline, I know you be there for me anytime.
No.
Sammy, they've been there for me anytime that I've ever needed them. Forever.
No.
Best friends today turned into best friends forever.
I got more words than you.
Take me home.
Why'd you go to my mic?
Are you guys both drunk?
Because we're both doing the Oscar speech.
So you guys are both drunk.
To a place.
Or are you stone cold sober here?
Where
I belong. Sammy Caroline.
Oh, they're playing you off. They're playing you off.
Love the best friends today.
They're playing you off. They're playing you off.
Sammy would be stone cold sober and just like, you would think everyone's name perfectly. You would remember like the most obscure executive.
I'd like to thank my producers. I'd like to thank my manager. I'd like to thank, oh my God, I'd like to thank my wife, my lovely
Your
wife.
wife.
She is pretty much the reason why I'm so successful right now. I just, first and foremost, I want to thank my mother. I want to thank the
My
Simpsons.
fifth grade teacher.
I want to thank my fifth grade teacher, Mr. Grumbus.
Peter
he
Griffin.
did so incredible just teaching me the foundations of theater and just loving life and being creative and stoking that creative flame inside of me.
Stroking your what?
I also want to thank my chiropractor because I had to carry this show on my back for so long. I'm talking about the Oscars, by the way, because I go here every day. I'm a professional speech maker.
I could so see you hosting the Oscars. That's not even me being like, I actually think you're really that good, and it's like Dunny Kruger's. It's like, we've all seen the Oscars, and every time they have hosts up, it's pretty bad.
We've all seen the Oscars.
Okay, Will hasn't seen the Oscars, but like the hosts just don't have charisma. I genuinely think it would be
if you haven't seen the Oscars.
It would be such a shame if you didn't host the Oscars.
I love all the hosts at the Oscars, and I actually don't want to host. I want to be in there accepting the award.
Yeah.
Why not do
The
both?
award.
Why not
I
do
wanna
both?
Accept the award.
Let's get into. Can we start? Well, who wants to? I feel like we should start with The Simpsons.
We should. Which episode?
Yeah, what are we thinking? Should we start?
Let's start with the worst episode.
Well, let's explain what we did just for the people who did not watch the previous American Guy versus Family Dad episode.
Yes.
So we watched the best episode from each show, Futurama and Family Guy, based on the IMDb score, and we watched the worst episode, and then we watched a random episode from each. For Futurama, Caroline had a specific request to watch season 3, episode 5 of Futurama. So we watched that one, and then we watched a random episode of The Simpsons.
Yeah.
So where do we want to start?
I think we should start with the worst.
Okay.
Of The Simpsons.
Okay. So that was Lisa Goes Gaga.
Yes.
I searched. It's really easy to find the best rated episodes on IMDb. It's kind of hard to find the worst because they don't sort by that. So I had to like do some digging to find like a list.
Yeah.
It was like the worst ranked Simpsons episodes based on the IMDb score, and I just found the most recent one.
Sure. Yeah. It's interesting that people didn't like that episode. I assume it's because there's a lot of singing in this episode because it's about Lady Gaga. I felt like it was a strong episode relatively speaking. It wasn't that bad. Relative to the Futurama episode, it wasn't that bad, I feel like.
Yeah.
So I think this episode, from the little digging that I did, because when I found the episode, I also found like some forum posts about the episode.
Sure.
And I think the reason why people don't like it so much is that it's so celebrity focused.
Sure.
They don't like the celebrity focused episodes. They don't like the Lady Gaga episode.
Yeah.
They don't like the Elon Musk episode.
Yeah.
Because
it's like the Fengwa
of Simpsons. It's like, why are we... This is a real life guy now, but they're in Springfield. I think that's why the general audience doesn't like these episodes.
Sure.
Yeah.
It also didn't feel like it didn't feel too boomer, like they didn't understand Lady Gaga's celebrity. It felt like they kind of understood why she was popular in the culture at that time. And then it also didn't feel like it just seemed like she was a nice character. It was funny. I liked it. Let's just get into it. Sorry, I'm trying to remember how it starts.
It starts with Lady Gaga on her train.
On her train.
On her heels train. Where they're like,
it starts out with a narrator, right?
Oh, yeah. It starts out with the narrator being like, this is Springfield and something about Springfield, and here's Lady Gaga on the train.
On a weird train, yeah.
So she's on the train, and there's the dancers dancing, and then her assistant comes out, and he's like, dancers, stop it. Then they stop, and then Lady Gaga comes in. That's the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
Then there's an award ceremony at the school.
Yes. So there's an A plot, and then there's a B plot.
What's the B plot?
I think the B plot is the Lady Gaga stuff.
Yeah.
The A plot is
But they
Lisa. They
converge.
intertwine. Yeah. Well, the A plot and the B plot, they usually intertwine. So the B plot of this is Lady Gaga's just like crashing into Springfield. But then later on, she's like,
Well, she chooses. Yeah.
And the A plot is that Lisa Simpson was voted least popular person at her school.
Yeah.
And she's just dealing with the emotional ramifications of
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
That really hurt her feelings.
And so she goes on she makes like a blog post on the fourth gradian like
Forum, their Reddit
fourth
page.
gradian message board as makes a fake like alternate
An anonymous
account called like Truth Teller.
Yeah.
And she starts posting good things about herself, like Lisa Simpson. And then suddenly everyone's like, whoa, this must be the truth. Like Truth Teller's
Truth
like
Teller's saying it.
real.
Yeah.
And then so Bart finds like a notebook in her pocket or something at school after she's like finally popular. And then Bart is like, wait a minute, this is everything that Truth Teller is saying. You must be Truth Teller in front of the whole school.
In front of everyone.
Yeah. And everyone's like,
we hate you. You're an idiot.
Yeah. Then what happens?
Pushing back to the Lady Gaga part.
Yes.
Lady Gaga is on a train to wherever the fuck. But they pass the Springfield sign, and her manager's like, "Oh, we usually take you away from these bumfuck nowhere places. We'll fly you out immediately." She's like, "No, wait."
She's like, "What?" La-da-da-dee-da. And then like she starts singing and like a blurb
She has superpowers.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Someone needs my help in Springfield. I gotta help this bumfuck, dirty ass, fuck ass town." So then she goes to Springfield to look for. She doesn't know who Lisa is, but she's looking for the little girl who's sad and needs some Lady Gaga cheer.
And so she's
Lady Gaga's character is all about giving confidence, and apparently Springfield has like the
My
lowest
Little
self-esteem.
Monsters.
Yeah,
My Little Monsters. I like that.
that was such a like 2000. I believe this episode came out in like 2012 or 2010 when that was like a thing. Like My Little Monsters was a thing.
It was.
I'm beautiful.
Let's bring it back.
Yeah.
Wait, we can't.
Lady
sing
Gaga was all
any
about
songs.
like about embracing your identity. We can't.
Yes.
We can't sing.
And we're neat.
No, we can't sing any songs. This will effectively be unusable.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you serious?
We got word from our sponsors.
What do you mean we got
Word from the network.
We got word.
Hold on. Did the YouTube robot be like yellow check marker?
No, it wasn't the robot.
Or it was just our legal department being like, shut the fuck up.
It was the network.
They're trying to silence my voice.
Well, that's not a real song.
You
So
made
can
that
sing
up.
that however. Yeah,
that was good.
Wait, what's the Ariana thing from Victorious? They're like, they didn't tell me I couldn't
they didn't say I couldn't sing
because
her voice.
I couldn't sing.
Her voice doesn't work. So she's talking about the doctor because the doctor's like, she got vocal surgery and the doctor's like, you can't talk anymore. They didn't say I couldn't sing though.
They didn't say I couldn't sing. But that would be more painful. That would be so much more painful
funny.
and bad for your vocal cords.
Anyway, we'll
Love
do
the
Victorious
logic.
versus iCarly in the
Oh
next
my
episode.
God, we totally
What?
should. We totally should
Leave a
because
comment if you
iCarly's
haven't seen
better.
the Oscars, or leave a comment if you want Victorious
So
versus
basically, The
iCarly.
Simpsons is a family show, movie show where they go in and they talk about family shows.
Okay. So Lisa Simpson has very low self-esteem.
Yeah.
Right? And Lady Gaga comes to Springfield and picks her out of a crowd.
Yeah, she's performing at a concert in Springfield.
And Lady
In,
Gaga
like, the
comes
parking lot?
to Lisa's aid and is basically like, Lisa, you should have self-esteem and you should be able to be exactly who you want. You don't need anybody else to like you. The only fan that you need is yourself. And Lisa like goes off in a way that I thought was really interesting. I actually wrote down how much I liked that speech that she gave, where she's just like, I'm glad that you have a lot of self-confidence and I'm glad that you're trying to make other people feel like they can have self-confidence. But you know what? Sometimes you just have low self-esteem, and fuck you for telling me that I should try harder to get out self-esteem because maybe I just feel bad about myself. Okay, but she like pops off on her.
Yeah.
And Lisa realizes that it wasn't fair for her to yell at Lady Gaga because Lady Gaga was just trying to help. Was just trying to help. And in the end, she comes up to Lady Gaga and Lady Gaga's like, wait, I helped you? And she's like, well, yeah, like inadvertently, me taking out all of my rage from the past 7 years of being a 7-year-old child or whatever it is, just putting that onto you and just destroying you really was cathartic. And that's what helped me and ultimately gave me a lot of self-esteem. And I was like, I've done that so many times to people that it's not healthy, but it was just really cool to see that being like that the female rage being shown in that way in The Simpsons.
Yeah,
really
there's a lot of
feminist
great.
show.
That's the thing. If we're talking about funniness, that's one thing. But if we're talking about like moral of the story, I feel like a lot of the values of the Simpsons episodes that I watched
really
like kind of shine through in like in a way that was interesting.
I felt like every single episode we watched had a really great moral, and a lot of them had to do with parenting in a weird way. Like all three of them had a weird thing to do with parenting.
It's a family show.
It's a family
movie show.
It really is, though. It really is a family
movie show.
Yellow guy?
Yellow Family Guy.
No, we're getting word from our network that we can't say that.
Yellow Family Guy. Hey, y'all watching Yellow Family Guy?
I will say though that at the end,
Family. No, that's not.
The moral of the story was really good, but then Mo tries to get on the train. He's like, "What about me?" And she's like, "No, I can't. I'm not good enough."
And then
for
he
that.
gets hit by a fucking train.
He's like,
"Yeah, all right,
out loud.
Okay, I figured."
I laughed out loud at that, and I couldn't stop laughing.
He went, okay.
And I was with somebody else. Like I was watching with my AirPods in silence, and my friend who knew I was watching The Simpsons was just like, "Are you good?"
Yeah, I'm good. I'm watching a comedy show, so I'm laughing.
I know, but I wasn't laughing the whole time, and then all of a sudden I just went, "Oh my god!" Because it's so funny.
Because of violence.
No, just getting hit by the train after him being like,
"All right, I'll go fuck myself."
Okay, wait for me. No. Oh, okay, whatever. Okay. Mo died.
That goes into our
let's go into acknowledgements
/ funny giggle laugh
/ how we felt about the show as well.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Caroline, would you like to go into your funny?
Okay, I'll start off. The first joke that I liked. Well, the narrator was going over all the things that are wrong with Springfield, and I thought that all of those things were funny. Like the police officer being like, I'm not even going to try and explain that joke because it's just too complicated.
Yeah.
But I
felt that way for some of these jokes too.
There was a line where the principal says to Lisa, "Accept your least popular award. It will make the kids like nicer on you. They will bully you less." But then she goes to accept the award, and then the kids start to yell at her more. She's like, "I thought that they would be nicer on me." And he's like, "I know very little about children."
Yeah.
And the way he said that made me that was funny.
Good line delivery.
When there's another good line delivery when Lisa says to her parents, she's like, "Oh, I try to wait for you guys to fall asleep before I cry." And Homer just goes, "Oh, thanks for that."
Thank you.
That was so funny.
I appreciate that.
There's a point where he starts to shake Lisa, and he just keeps shaking her. She's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I have a weird thing about like doing things
17 times.
Yeah, like OCD." And so he just goes, "Yeah, yeah, 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 yeah." And he keeps doing that. And
he's like, "Oh, I lost count. Might as well start over."
Oh, this is interesting. So I mentioned this to Will. I have seen every single episode of The Simpsons from season 4 to season probably like 27. And I did when I was 12.
When you were young.
When I was 12. And I remember this episode from when I watched it because the section where there's like a countdown. Lady Gaga's doing a countdown to her big show, her big song number. And it goes 4, 3, 2. Homer goes, "Where are they going with this?" 1. He's like, and I have been quoting that jook with my dad for years. Like, where are they? Whenever there's a countdown, I'm like, where are they going with this? Every New Year's, I'm always like, I wonder what's gonna happen next. I thought that was so funny.
Yeah, I love that one as well.
Ned's whole interaction. Oh, when Ned bumps into Lady Gaga and he's basically like kind of slut shaming Lady Gaga, and Lady Gaga's like, "I'm just trying to make everyone feel beautiful," and he's like, "Well, that's what Jesus was trying to do." Oh, never mind. Like the way that whole interaction was just so funny. I love Ned.
That's wild. I literally wrote where I put it.
Did you not like it? Did you think it was too heavy-handed?
No. I put Ned's interaction with Lady Gaga.
Yeah. I thought it was so funny, the whole thing. Marge being defensive when Lady Gaga's trying to console Marge. I don't know why, but she keeps trying to touch Marge's hand, and Marge keeps like pulling away, like.
Oh, I didn't see that.
And I thought that was really funny because I've done that too. Trim the hem. Lady Gaga is wearing a dress made out of steak, and Homer is like taking the steak off of her dress and like searing it and eating it. She's like, "Could you stop doing that?" He's like, "Yeah, but can I at least take in the hem?" And she's like, "Go ahead." And I thought that was a cute line. I thought that was a clever line. I denounced thee is wonderful. Oh, when Lisa is going off on Lady Gaga and being like, "Fuck you and whatever you stand for." She's like, "I denounce thee." And I thought that was such a funny line because there are times where I will have problems with like the positive message that celebrities will send, and I'll just go off into a rage and I'll start to use language like that. And I was like, This is just so me. This is just like this is such a me character.
You're just Limpsus.
I'm just Limpsa Simpson.
Limpsa Simpson. Oh, from Yellow Family Guy.
Limpsa Simpson. When Lisa's in the tree, she's in the tree house, and Homer is like struggling to get up the tree, and he's like, you see him crawl up another tree, and he's like, oh, wrong tree. The way that he delivers that I thought was funny. He's talking about cheating, and he's like, Lisa, the problem isn't that you cheated. The problem is that you got caught. I cheat on my diet all the time. The only consequence is sudden death. And I was like, that's such a clever little line. And then the last thing, obviously, is Mo getting hit by a train. Because Mo getting hit by a train made me laugh out loud. Okay, so those are my acknowledgements.
I have some acknowledgements as well.
Go ahead,
I would like to say.
Yes.
I liked when Lisa said at the dinner table, "Can I be excused from holding up my end of the conversation?" I thought that was funny.
That's good.
I also liked on the fourth gradian message board, there being like uncensored jump rope chants. I thought that was funny. I also at one point, I forget who said this, but the old dude was like, "I love you, Lady Shaja." I thought that was funny. And when Lisa's going off on Lady Gaga, Bart comes in and is he's like, "Lady Gaga, meet your biggest threat, Baby Gronk." That shit was awesome.
That's not what he said. He said Baby Goo Goo. And I wrote down, I don't know why I missed it. Like somebody had that joke in their bag. Like some writer had it in their bag. Baby Gronk.
Livy Dunn, meet Baby Gronk. Livy Dunn, you got some competition.
No, but I thought that was such a cute line where they were like, we have to find a way to work this in. We have to find a way to work this in. Baby Goo Goo.
Baby Goo Goo.
Baby Gronk.
Livy Dunn.
Baby Gronk rizzes up Lady Gaga.
Baby Goo Goo.
Okay.
The joke was Baby Goo Goo, by the way.
It was
they didn't say
Baby
Baby Gronk.
They said
in the
Baby
Simpsons.
Gronk. I think 5 years before that he was even born.
The Simpsons predicted it.
Predicts
Baby
everything.
Gronk.
Okay, Yellow Family Guy.
They
Yellow
predict
Family Guy.
everything. Family Gronk.
Family Gronk. Him and Lizzie Dunn will have a Family Gronk. We should.
And then
It seems
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, ew.
I just some of the noises that Marge makes. I like just the way that I like that.
Homie.
When she comes out of it, a giant egg comes in, and he's like, "Run! With an egg that big, there's got to be a bigger chicken.
There's got to be an even bigger chicken.
Yeah. I thought that was funny. Lady Gaga's like sad, and she's eating like a fruit roll up or something, and one like random character is like, "Why is she doing in defeat what I do in victory?" And I thought
the
that was,
nerd character.
Yeah. And then of course the Mo train. Those are my acknowledgements for the episode.
I'm not gonna beat the dead horse, but there are some that we didn't mention.
Okay.
At one, you know what? Fuck the timestamps. You guys have already watched it because the community.
Because the community knows.
There's a moment at the beginning of the episode where Lady Gaga's like, "Conductor, you know the rules. Take off your clothes." When Principal Seymour pulls Bart's arm off and it squirts in his face.
That was
funny.
And then he goes, and that's a callback to the first time he gets
when
squirt in his
opens
face.
and it squirts.
Marge says, and that's how Berber carpet got its name, according to some. What? According to some? Truth teller, more like lie smeller.
Yeah.
And it caught on.
It caught on. I think I started crying when he said that. Lie smeller. And everyone's like, lie smeller. The moonshine thing where the pregnant mom is drinking the moonshine.
And the baby.
And then she's like, you guys know the rules. All her babies put the moonshine away. Then the baby inside her stomach puts out the moonshine.
No exceptions.
Homer says, "Want to honk your jazz tube?" to try to cheer up Lisa. The crowd of phones when Lady Gaga texts them to do the thing. The thing I laughed at when they went, "Oops."
Yeah.
Because she's like, you guys go away. It's not working.
Yeah,
disperse. They spell disperse. And one of the group members is like, guys, she meant like actually leave.
Yeah.
And they all go, oops.
And then
leave.
disperse, yeah.
after Lady Gaga makes out with Marge calls Homer, and then they just have sex.
Weird.
Yeah.
And then
that was the best sex of my life, or something.
I laughed at this about 18 times. Laughs, acknowledgments, huffs out of my nose, pickle chin, like 18 times.
Shit.
So, what do we think about Lady Gaga Goes to Gronk?
I'm surprised it's their lowest rated episode because I liked it a lot.
I feel like it could have been a lot worse
Yeah.
for like a bad episode.
Yeah,
There has to be a worse episode of The Simpsons.
Yeah, that was just the worst rated one on IMDb, but
Yeah.
this episode was
For
fine.
32 seasons, that's the lowest.
Yeah.
32 seasons.
If that's the Lewis episode, that
Lewis
episode was fine.
It's Lois, actually.
Shut up, Chick Dip. Yeah, this episode was literally fine.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Any other? I thought the
Hey,
story, the moral of the story, it still like had a good, like, I don't know. I feel like I also liked when Lady Gaga, she was like crying diamonds. Like there were like a bunch of little
She's like
stuff
a
like that
superhero.
didn't seem.
Yeah.
Didn't seem like it was like, okay, we get it. Like she's flashy, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was too much of that.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. I thought this was a good episode. And Lady Gaga is a good voice actress.
Was it her actual voice?
It was?
It was her.
Oh shit.
It's listed on IMDb as Lady
Hell
Gaga.
yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Now worst rated Futurama episode.
Or
comparatively?
we should go through The Simpsons because
I think we go to worst rated Futurama episode.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do it by category of tier,
sure.
and then
So we can go into the comparisons.
yeah, compare why they're like which one's worst out of the
I
worst.
I barely have anything for this episode because it really
I have a lot.
wasn't
I do
that funny
too.
to me.
I thought it was hilarious.
I thought this episode, I laughed at. First of all, as an aggregate, I think I'm using that word correctly.
Mhm.
I laughed at this each show way more than I did Family Guy and American Dad.
Really
Yeah.
Yeah, I have double-digit laughs for every episode.
Yeah.
interesting.
Of all of these.
I didn't laugh as much, I think, as Family Guy. I laughed more than American Dad, but I didn't. But Family Guy still.
I didn't have high hopes for the Lisa Goes Gaga. I thought the episode was fine, but I was like, because I wasn't laughing that much.
Is that the first one you watched?
Yeah, a lot of
Okay.
it was like acknowledgments instead of like full on laughter. The one thing I really laughed at was the lie smeller, and maybe that says
Yeah.
a lot about me.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is okay. I'm in for a treat.
It was still
and
clever.
then I watched the Futurama episode, and I was like, this shit is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
I do want to say I totally see why it's the lowest rated,
I don't
and it
like
makes because it's just it's set up. It's like 3 short Christmas stories.
Yeah.
That each like don't really make too much sense as its standalone short story, and,
And
they
they
end
also-
weirdly
They
and abruptly.
acknowledge that. That's
Yeah.
in the Kwanzaa one, they're like, this shit don't make no sense.
Yeah. It's like some shit that it's like literally shit that when I was 16 and I was like high, I would be like, oh, I have an idea for a show, and I'd write it down and then like read it in the morning and be like, a bee, like a Kwanzaa bee candlestick? What? Like this makes no fucking
It's
sense.
I thought this
Also,
episode
there's a
was
lot of
awesome.
singing. I think for me, I'm always like, ugh, if they're singing in cartoons, I just don't care.
What about
Except,
Gaga?
and I was like, I don't really care about this.
I
I
don't
will
really
say
care for
Seth
singing either.
MacFarlane, whenever he has music, I tend to like it more, and it's
a
just
wonderful day for pie.
because he's like more of a jazz singer, like, and he's really good too. He's a good voice, even when he's doing like Peter. I tend to like the Family Guy music more, but I don't like
Interesting.
singing in cartoons.
I love singing all across the board.
Well, you're a musical man.
I love a musical
He's the
episode.
Yeah.
music man.
If there's a musical episode, I think it's a fun way to deliver comedy. It's a fun
Interesting.
tune.
I-
I think it's nice.
It's ironically, I hate musical comedy, and yet
I
I've
do as
made
well.
I've made musical
Yeah.
comedy, which
Yeah,
is
that's like
really
your,
funny.
your thing.
I like good music that also happens to be funny, but like musical stuff, like particularly. No, but if it's I don't even think I like that. If it's like musical show tunes and it's funny, I'm like, ugh. Except for Spamalot. I don't know why. That's the only one where I'm like, that's funny. I'm okay with that. But everything
Spamalot?
else, I'm like, it doesn't feel.
It's Camelot.
This is a very silly place.
Spamalot.
We shouldn't go there.
I don't know what that is. But
It's a musical. It's a fun
Oh.
one.
It's like it's a little outdated now. But anyways, so this episode is the holiday episode, as you
yes.
said. And do you want to explain what happens? Because even I don't know what happens. There's only like
Yes.
4 things that I thought was funny.
Oh, I know what happens. But Will, if you want to take it.
Let's each explain one of them.
Okay, do you want to do the pine tree one?
I'll do the Hanukkah one.
Yeah, I could do the pine
It's
tree
not
one.
Hanukkah, Caroline.
It's Robonica.
It's Robonica.
So the Yeah, so obviously this is set in the future. If you don't know Futurama, it's set in the future.
Yeah, in the year 3000.
And it's a family SpongeBob.
It's like in under the sea.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's not. So
A pineapple under the
they're
sea.
celebrating Xmas. They never call it Christmas. It's Xmas. And they're like, it starts with them. I don't know if I'm missing something at the beginning, but they're like, "Oh, secure the defenses! Like Santa's here," and it was like, "What?" And then like the house shuts down into like defense mode, and Santa's like this robotic, like evil guy.
Oh, before the Gendersons or Hendersons, the Unshelled Nuts.
Oh yeah,
that's what it actually starts with.
Oh yeah,
it's sponsored by Gendersons.
Another sponsorship. It's interesting. The lowest rated American Dad episode was also like a sponsorship, like a fake sponsorship. This one was sponsored by Gendersons Nuts.
They have a lot of stuff like that though. With Futurama. There's a lot of self-referential stuff and a lot of like references to commercialization and television with Futurama. It's like it is like Family Guy's like later seasons of Family Guy where they're just like referencing themselves. Continue.
Yes. So they so Santa comes and like kind of busts through the defenses, and they start singing about Xmas, and Santa says like, "Oh, we need a pine tree." Like they're all like, "We need a pine tree for the Xmas spirit," right? And then so they're like, "But pine trees have been extinct for like hundreds of thousands or like 1,000 years or something." So they're like, "Well, I know one place where there might be a pine tree," and they go to this this building that
it's the pine. It's the nut like seed vault. Where
yes,
they keep all
the global seed vault where
it's Norwegian.
Oh, it's
but
in Norway.
That voice actor's like Canadian sounding.
Yeah, he sounds Canadian. And it happens to be right next to a germ warfare repository.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
Germs.
Where they keep all the germs, and like the window was like wide open, blowing, and it's like, and we'll get into that. We'll do that after. But so they get a pine tree seed, and the joke is that it's probably contaminated, and they go and they plant it. Or the president steals it or something.
Yeah, oh yeah, Nixon. It's Nixon, right? Or is it Reagan?
Nixon.
It's Nixon. Nixon. Vice President Dick Cheney's like, "Let me tell you what to do. You should steal it for yourself."
Yeah.
And then Nixon takes the
tree. Which, by the way, they're like floating heads in like a reserved like they reserved their like brains or something. So all these presidents and stuff are like floating heads.
Yeah. Anybody from the past has been frozen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kept in a tank.
And then they go and they plant the pine tree seed, and it grows to normal, and they're like, "Yay, like Xmas," and then it like keeps growing, and they're like, "Oh shit, like the germs, like it must have fucked it up," and then just pine trees just keep growing through the ground throughout, and it like infests the entire earth. And the entire earth is just covered in pine trees. And then they're like, well, maybe this is a good thing. Like Earth is going back to like how it should be, like reversing climate change. It's producing a bunch of oxygen. And then it turns out that the oxygen levels are getting too high. And it's like, the Earth is like 80-90% oxygen. And then the robot dude lights a cigar and the Earth blows up.
And that's how it ends.
And that's the short story.
I think we should acknowledge them as short stories. Like, do the acknowledgments for each short story.
Yeah.
So we can.
Yeah.
Because I think that's.
Do you want to? You can go. Yeah.
I can. Because I thought this was just so ridiculous.
Yeah, there were some good jokes.
There were some good lines. So I want to mention that this was actually harder to write down because every joke was so like setup, punchline. Like some jokes were setups to another joke.
Yeah.
Like that seed joke.
Yeah.
They were setting that up to go to the joke where she's like, "Did this contract a virus?" And he goes, "Oh, probably."
Yeah.
So we'll start from the beginning. I liked another thing I want to acknowledge. I think all the voice actors in both of these shows, I think specifically Futurama, every voice actor, I just laugh when they start talking.
Yeah.
The old guy, Fry, Bender.
Yeah.
The first thing, 33 seconds in, Amy's like, "Who wants a delicious unshelled nut?" And Bender goes, "Ooh, I'll have one." And it scared the shit out of me.
So good.
Evil Santa robot, where he's like, "God bless ye, merry gentlemen. in peace. And he pulls out a machine gun. And goes, grrr. The old guy, what is his name? I don't know his name.
Oh, Professor.
Is he a scientist?
Oh.
Yeah.
The old scientist guy?
Good news, everyone. What the fuck?
He goes, if Grandma's Xmas fruitcake reaches critical mass, it can be regifted straight to Santa's ass.
Yeah.
And then he throws it at his ass.
Yeah. And it blows up.
The barking snakes, I think was funny.
Yes.
The line about Olive Garden after that. That's I thought that was funny.
That line is like just a combination of words that never would have existed ever, like outside of that context. What was it? Pine trees aren't barking snakes. They won't just turn up in a salad at Olive Garden, which is just crazy, like word salad.
Like, sorry? What does that mean? The scientist going, there's only one hope, and as usual, it's Norwegian. The seed vault guard has barking snakes. So the barking snake sets up the seed guard having the barking snakes as like guard dogs. I don't remember who says this, but they say, we're here to rummage about a bit. And the guard goes, oh, so, okay.
Yeah.
All the pine trees chopped down to make toilet paper during the 50-year squirt. That made me lose it.
That was one of the laughs.
That made me lose
it. The 50-year squirts is fucking crazy.
Imagine for 50 years, everyone has the diarrhea squirt boo-boo cheek runs, and they're using up all the pine trees, and they're like, get a fucking bidet. Shit. What? I lost it. Okay. Oh, Amy's like, what's that splork on him? Is that germs? Because they're examining the seeds, and he goes, no. Could the seeds have been contaminated by a virus in the germ vault? Yeah, I suppose.
After
the tree grows.
Yeah.
Because the guy keeps saying no. They're like, wait, does that window mean anything? I don't know. No. So did the seeds get contaminated by the virus in the germ vault? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, perhaps.
Oh, why are the pine cones grenades? When the trees are growing, the virus made the pine cones grenades, so everything's exploding. When who says this? Oh, I think it's either Xmas, like Santa Bot. He goes, ho ho ho, everyone's dead. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
That's it for that thing. So you guys go.
Let me see. Oh yeah. After they I forget what the scene was, but they were they were talking about how like they have a pine tree or something somewhere, and there's this little British robot kid who's missing a limb who starts
Timmy.
talking, and then he just gets hit by a fucking car. And it's like Richard Nixon, that's when he comes out and he's like, we should take it for ourselves, right? Yeah. And when the oxygen levels are rising too fast, 40%, 50%, 60%, as long as it doesn't hit 70, 80%. His fucking face. That was
to clarify, that was floating head Al Gore.
Yeah.
That was Al Gore.
That's my
favorite character in this episode is floating head Al Gore,
because he's like the climate conscious. He's like unlimited solar. Wait, is that in another? That's another one. Short. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. And most of the things that you said though, I put the like the 50-year squirts, and him lighting a cigar, I thought, and the earth burning down was funny. But then like realizing that was the end of the short, I was like, oh,
it's like they died.
Yeah,
I didn't realize it was 3 separate shorts.
Me neither.
I was like, oh, so they fucking died.
Yeah.
But then he's like, oh, don't fear not for that. We have a second one. Also, shout out to evil Santa Bot's just voice actor. Maybe it's Bender's voice actor too.
Yeah.
But every line he said, his singing voice was just cracking me up. Okay.
The only thing that made me laugh was them talking about like the earth and like how it's going back to a normal state. And then Al Gore comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that like Al Gore's voice actor just sounds gay, which that's not what Al Gore sounds like. So I was just like, why did they choose this voice actor for Al Gore?
He's a climate change activist. He's a woke liberal.
I guess.
Literally.
But it was just funny that it was just like, and here's Al Gore now. I'm like, right.
Yeah.
Right,
Caroline,
of course.
look at me. Did the 50-year squirt joke not make you fucking... No, look at me, Caroline. Don't look away. Don't look at them. They're not going to save you.
No.
No, look at me.
No. I really think it's because the line delivery in this show, like for those kinds of jokes, do not make me laugh. But then for other things that shouldn't be funny, the line delivery makes me laugh. It's like something about it being like so like... It almost sounds like anime where I'm like...
50-year squirt.
It just didn't make me laugh.
So if it sounded like 50-year squirt.
No, it's
like
because it sounded like that I was like
50.
Okay. No,
it didn't. It just didn't make me laugh.
Let it go. It's okay.
No, there was only one joke in this whole thing that actually made me laugh, and it made me laugh for like dumb reasons.
Wait, was it the 50-year squirt?
No, it's when Bender was like, they were like, "Can we use a different oil for Robonica?" And he's like, "No, this isn't a lousy reformed Robonica." And I was like, "That's such a like American Jewish joke to make."
Speaking of Robonica,
the next second short story for this holiday episode was about Robonica.
it's Robonica.
Basically, everybody's sitting at the squad table. I don't know what they call it.
The squad table.
The squad table.
That's what they call the cafeteria table in high school.
Right.
We had
That's how
the squad
they start
table.
many episodes. And basically, Bender's like, I want off today because today is a very special holiday. It's Robonica. And they're like, you just made that up. He's like, no, I didn't. I did not just make that up. And he clearly just made it up. And it goes into a song about Robonica, and Robonica is essentially Hanukkah, and he's talking about how like he has a dreidel that is automated.
The droidel,
and it's like it's a dreidel. The game is a gambling game.
So he always wins money.
Yeah. And then he basically, instead of having a menorah that needs oil, he has two fembots come in and fight each other. Like the way you'd have two like women fight each other in mud, has them fighting in, what is it, petroleum? No, not petroleum.
Petroleum oil. Yeah.
Is it petroleum oil? Okay.
Oil.
Petroleum oil. And he's like, they need to be fighting in petroleum oil for the next 4 weeks, but oh no, we only have enough petroleum oil for 3 weeks. We have to go and find regular petroleum oil. And they're like, can't we use other oil? And he's like, no, that's not what the holiday is. And so they go and dig into the earth to find petroleum oil, which exists because after millions of years of pressure, the organic matter turns into petroleum oil. This is when I was like, this is stupid. The ship crashes, right? By an albino humping
it's an albino humping worm.
Why do they call it that? Because it has no pigment.
Wait. Why do they call it that? Hump. Because it has no pigment.
That made me laugh. That also made me laugh.
I wrote that down.
But basically they like go into the tunnel, it crashes, and everyone dies. And Bender is in this ship that's crashed underground for 5 million years, enough time for all of the bodies of his dead friends to turn into petroleum oil. Yeah. He's like, oh my God, I finally have it to finish my celebration for Robonica. He goes back up to the place where the two fembots are still fighting after 5 million years. And he's like, oh my God, the petroleum oil. It was only supposed to last 4 weeks, but it actually lasted 500 million years. And that also made me laugh because I was like, this is so stupid. And then that was the Robotic episode.
It's like he said that line during the end of like the shooting day.
Yeah.
And he's like sifting over the script. Oh my God, it's like 500 million years. Yay! I'm leaving. Bye, guys.
Yeah. I want to mention this because if people haven't seen Futurama, this might get people to watch it. The voice actor for Bender is also Jake from Adventure Time.
Was it DiMaggio?
Yeah. He's a really wonderful voice actor. But it's always funny because it almost sounds like Jake, but there's such a raunchy and like aggressive undertone for Bender that it just sounds so much funnier.
Next, we gotta do regular show versus Adventure Time too.
That's hard to do because they're such different shows.
Oh,
I feel like we
really?
do that with Gumball and regular show because those are like comparably weirder shows.
Oh, okay.
You know
Gumball
what I mean?
and regular show would be interesting. Adventure Time, maybe the most comparable
Steven
one of that is
Universe?
Steven
I haven't seen
Universe.
either, which is I just feel like I hear them both in the same sentence sometimes.
It's just because that's like classic
Cartoon
Network.
Yeah.
Like
okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
For our generation.
So we're gonna do iCarly versus Victorious.
Yes.
Yeah. And then Gumball.
I haven't
and
seen
regular
Victorious, but I was at iCarly. Stan?
Real. No, Spencer, actually. You were an iCarly Spencer.
Neville. I was an iCarly Neville. Thank you. Actually, he's Gibby.
Name another character.
Sam.
How many iCarly characters can we name?
Sam,
Easy, a
Carly,
bunch of them.
Neville, Spencer, Freddie's mom. Gibby's mom.
You like Gibby's mom?
Yeah, Gibby's mom was
Guppy.
The guy
Happy birthday
from the smoothie shop. What was his name?
T-Bone.
T-Bone.
Happy birthday.
T-Bone.
Nora. There's Fred from Fred.
Fred was
Fred was in it.
Fredward Benson. Oh, not Fredward Benson. No, Fred from Fred. Hey,
Didn't
it's Fred.
Carly's dad stop by for a second?
He did, yeah. I think he was in the Navy.
Yeah.
The teacher that's like makes her do the reduce and recycle. Cha. Do you remember?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I don't know what the teacher.
Principal.
Yeah.
Tippersons.
What's the number one fan? The like crazy girl
that's
that
Nora.
Like locked her. Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah. Sam's mom, Jane Lynch.
Oh yeah, Jane Lynch is Sam's mom. That's a really good cast.
So anyway, back on Robonica. What? It's Robonica.
Gibby's girlfriend, Emily Ratajkowski.
What?
That was funny.
I did not know about this.
He's like, come on, let's go.
It's funny that Gibby was always paired up with really attractive women, and that was the joke.
Yeah.
Well, that's the joke in The Office with Dwight.
Yeah.
Dwight just had like really hot women just like Dwight. Dwight's like, I just can't.
Yeah, the German.
We should make that for me for BFTV.
Can I say that I met Gibby in real life when I was in Vegas, and he was in like, we were at the zoo and he was in front of me. He was a brat of a kid, just like yelling. It's like why are the animals not here? And like yelling at his parents. It's like you got too famous real fast. And I mean, probably it was just being a kid and whatever. But like it was. Yeah. I remember I was like, is that Gibby? Yeah.
No, everyone needs grace. I mean, like imagine you are Gibby. And you're a child, like you don't have a child.
Everyone
anymore.
coming up to you and be like, "Take your shirt off."
Yeah.
What the fuck? I'm 5.
Like I heard, I knew a kid that was pretty. We won't get into it, but we might have them on the show. Anyways, he was very, very famous, and then his parents decided to just put him back into school and like have him have a normal life from then on out. And he was like, I went from everyone bullying me, like everyone really, really bullying me, to everyone absolutely loving me, and it gave me the most bizarre like identity crisis ever because he's like, nothing changed about me. What is going on?
I was just more famous.
Yeah.
We gotta stick to the script.
I know.
Yeah, Robonica acknowledgements. Yeah, Will.
Okay.
For me, it was.
I like when they're at like the oil shop trying to get petroleum oil, and they're like, oh, like it's gone, like. The petroleum oil hasn't been around for like a long time, and the floating head Al Gore comes in and is like, I tried to warn you, 1 unit of free limitless solar power, please. and the dude just steps out of the shadow, like, and allows the sunlight to like beam onto him.
But then the guy's like, I don't know, like 10.
Oh,
$10.
yeah.
Flip a coin. Call it.
What else? Oh yeah, and in response to dude, Al Gore's like, can you make change for a Nobel Prize? I thought that was funny. The humping worm was funny. And then them like turning into petroleum oil. I thought was funny.
This
and
one
I
was
also like
shorter.
Yeah. I also liked when like 500 million years later, he was like, he like still like thinks that his friends are there. He's like, oh, hey guys, they're dead. Like 500 million.
Right.
Oh, right.
Like,
yeah.
Right.
He's just been 500 million years. Anyway, those were all the ones that I had.
Carolyn.
I did like the can I do exchange for the Peace Prize. I really like the albino humping mole. And then we're not doing a lousy reformed Hanukkah because you can tell that the writers for this are just American Jews doing jokes for only American Jews. It's funny.
So I'm gonna explain this Kwanzaa one really fast.
Yeah.
Because this one is fast.
It makes no sense.
So they celebrate Kwanzaa with Hermes' family. They have the candles, so they have to light the candles, but they ran out of beeswax candles because Kwanzaa bot comes in.
Yeah.
And he's like, y'all using them candles? Nah, we got to use the beeswax candles. So they have to get the beeswax candles, but they're out of beeswax. They have to go to a beehive to get the beeswax, but the bees, their like hive mind is fucked up because there's
like
crabs.
Yeah.
They have like crabs. So they have to get rid of the crabs. And then they get rid of the crabs, but then the hive mind comes back, and then they kill everybody.
and turn them into
beeswax candles.
Or human candles.
Human candles, yes. So
Yeah.
that's that part.
That's a reference to another episode where they go to the killer bees planet.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So we could do acknowledgments for this one because this one had some crazy.
Yeah, it had some like right off the bat. Do you want to?
You can go first.
Yeah. First of all, though, like the whole it's a black family. The whole family is black. I just want to preface.
But
this.
Hermes is Jamaican.
Yeah.
But it's a black family.
Yeah. And so one of the family members comes in and with a gift for Kwanzaa. And he's like, it's encouraged to bring educational gifts for Kwanzaa. So I brought my book on basketball.
He's like a Harlem Globetrotter. And he's like, basketball, he's spinning the book. Then he gives it to him. And Dwight the kid, he shoots the book in the trash can.
I was like, okay, this is what we're doing. And then 30 seconds later, the fucking Kool-Aid, or like, there's a Kool-Aid man joke where he can bust through the door. Or what does he say? What does the Kool-Aid man say? Like,
What did he say? Look at the cat dragged in. Wait, what did he say?
I don't remember.
I don't know what he said. I specifically wrote down, look at the cat dragged in.
Yeah.
That was funny.
But just crazy. Like, within the first minute, basketball joke, Kool-Aid joke. Like, okay, what are we doing?
And then when the lady, like, Hermes' wife was doing, like, we can use regular scented candles. And he's like, girl, those stink. Wait, no, he says, girl, those stank sticks. Wait,
Stank sticks.
help me. Girl, those stank sticks are for single women who take baths. But he
Yeah.
said it in a Kool-Aid man basketball way. I was like, this is awesome. This is so funny. Because then he was like, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
yeah. I like that line delivery. And oh yeah, die young, leave a pretty corpse is a bar, and I don't care
Real.
if anyone.
That should be
has
in
to
like
say.
a pop punk song.
Right?
I think that's a famous line.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, that
Oh,
is.
never mind. Then.
So Caroline, what do you or
The only thing that I thought was funny, or like I thought was interesting, the only reason why it's funny is because I had to Google it. There's a part where the bees start to act like kamikaze, like jets, and like just explode. And Leela is like, this is like that Jägermeister air show. And I was like, Jägermeister air show, this must be a point in history. There must have been a time where there was an air show and a bunch of planes exploded. And this is a reference to that day. If that's true, that's like referencing the Hindenburg or referencing the Titanic, but it's more recent, so it's more horrible. And I Googled it. There was an air show, I think called the Ramstein air show, where if you just Google it, the first picture on Google Images is just like two planes that just exploded into each other. And because I was like, that's probably a reference to something horrible, let me Google it. It was a reference to something horrible. The image was just so perfectly like just two planes exploding into each other that I laughed at the joke afterwards.
Yeah.
After the research. So I was like, that's something that goes into the bank now. Whenever I see like an explosion, I'll be like, that's like the Jägermeister airtime show, right, fellas?
That's real.
That's it.
That's real as hell.
The only thing that I thought was worth mentioning. I was also doing things while I was watching this episode because once I started, it was so not good for me. Like it was just so not my humor that I was just like, I'll
So
check
you mean
out.
to tell? Look at me, Caroline.
50
You mean
year
to tell me the
squirts?
50-year squirt didn't make you laugh?
No, I had to be honest. I laughed at something the other day that kind of solidified for me like how inappropriate my sense of humor is, or not inappropriate, but just like it's unique. That's what I'll say. It's like very not popular. There's a line from this is a completely different television show called Peep Show, which is a British television show. And there's a line, and I don't know if I'm going to say it right, but basically there's a character named whatever. He's just like, this is really Moorish crack. And the way that he said that made me laugh so hard when I was watching that show that I was like, yeah, maybe there's a reason why I don't laugh at Family Guy. Like, there's something about, like, yeah, smoking crack. What are you doing smoking crack? That's funny, but, oh, this is just really Moorish crack.
Moorish crack. So you just like crack jokes?
No, it's the fact that he used the term Moorish. I was like,
I think the crack is the through line.
Oh,
It's the crack stuff.
No, it's because they're, like, in a nice setting. And, you're, and the character is just so, like, you never know what's going on with him. But then you're like, oh yeah, of course this character's just smoking crack now. But the way it's just really more. I think that's so funny. Yeah. So anyways, it's like one of those things where you look at it and you're like, God, my sense of humor is just not up to par. Like it's just bad.
Live your truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Live your truth.
Yeah.
Because there's some like, if I explained 50-year squirts to like some people in my life, they'd be like, what are you talking about?
50-year squirts, when you guys said it, sounds so funny.
I think it's funny when they said it.
But when they said it, for some reason, it doesn't make me laugh. Like there's parts of that show, like Zoidberg, the voice, like, I was so confused as to how that voice came out. It's Fry, the voice actor for Fry, also does Zoidberg. And he was like, when I was trying to figure out the voice for the character, he like modeled it after this old Yiddish comedian. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. So that's why sometimes he's like, why don't we sit down even, maybe? And everything about that voice just makes me laugh so hard. It's nothing that he says that's funny. It's just the voice.
Okay, Sammy.
Is it more?
I said everything I had to say.
Yeah.
Now we can get into the comparisons real quick. Like,
oh yeah,
what do we think? These are the 2 worst episodes. I think these shows are pretty dissimilar to each other, but I think there is still the spirit of Christmas in both of them. And by Christmas, I mean the spirit of the creator of the show. Like, there is still, like, he clearly is involved in both of these. They clearly have the same, like, there are jokes within jokes, and there are setups that will set up this setup to set up this punchline that is a punchline for this episode here. Like, a lot of self-referential stuff.
Yeah.
But this one just, I think Futurama is just more, like, in the sort of wacky territory.
Yeah. It's where he gets to be more creative. I will say, like...
Wait, is it the same creator?
Yeah, it's Matt...
Groening.
I
don't know how to pronounce that man's name.
But
rest in
that's
peace.
awesome, because I just kind of picked these shows randomly. So I'm glad that there was like a good...
there is a kind of a debate about them, but everyone knows that they're super different. I will say that the feeling that you get when you watch Family Guy or American Dad or Seth MacFarlane show is a very different feeling than when you're watching these shows. And you feel the way that I feel about The Simpsons, like in terms of like the tempo for the show, it's similar in Futurama, where it's just sort of like I don't know.
Like a butterfly.
Yeah. It's like it's a really fast game of ping pong. That's what it feels like. As opposed to Family Guy, it just sort of feels like, when's the next thing that's gonna be crazy? It's like a da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and then something crazy happens. But then with these shows, it's just sort of like every second there's something that goes back and forth with the jokes.
Ping pong.
Like a butterfly that's playing ping pong.
Like a butterfly that's playing. Thank you for finishing that metaphor for me. That was that is simile for me. Sorry. That was very helpful.
Wait, that's Will, not Sammy.
Stop.
Simile.
Okay. Yeah. What else do you about these 2 episodes or about
like what do we think? Do we like them?
Me yelling was a joke, not me actually being angry. By the way, just pointing that out there.
Yeah, I saw your spit fly too, like a butterfly playing ping pong.
What? I'm sorry.
Fly like a bird. What?
Fly
That's
like
unusable. Bleep that out.
No.
No, don't bleep it out.
Don't bleep it out.
Bleep it out.
Don't bleep it out. Fly like a bird.
Bleep it out.
We gotta keep trucking. We gotta keep going. Okay, I'm just gonna start talking.
I liked this episode, and I also liked the Gaga episode. I liked them both. I liked them. I think they were awesome. I think they were sweet.
We have to speed through these next ones, don't we?
No.
Okay.
We should just not get off topic. Is the thing. We if we stay on topic.
So the next episode of
wait,
The Simpsons
wait. I have shit to say. About these 2 specifically, I liked the Simpsons one as a story more. I like the Futurama more comedically.
Sure.
Because like the 3, like they kind of I get what they were trying to do. It's like, oh, like Christmas, like the 3 winter holidays from like the 3 well-known cultures.
Yeah.
And but Christmas, oh, we're missing a Christmas tree because they're extinct. We gotta go get it.
Yeah.
Oh, Hanukkah, we're missing petroleum oil.
Yes.
We gotta go because
What are you
but
doing,
it's extinct.
ad-libs?
I'm agreeing. I'm helping him along.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Kwanzaa, we're missing beeswax. We have to go get it but it's like they all are the same story, just different holidays. Like, oh, we're missing this. We have to go back it's somewhere to get it.
Metro Boomin, mate. Wait,
so yeah, but they didn't really hold it as like stories. Like the storytelling didn't. Yeah, Jinx.
Yo, Pierre, you want to come out here?
So the next episode that we're gonna do, I think we should move on to the best. Well, no, not the best rated episode of Family Guy. Let's do the random episode because I think that might be quicker to get through.
Did you say Family Guy?
Of Family Guy, of Yellow Family Guy, of The Simpsons. And so the next one that we're going to talk about is, what's it called? The one where Bart gets a watch.
Oh, it's called Bart Gets a Watch. No, it's called A Father's Watch.
Okay, I really like this episode. I like it a lot. I like parenting in general with any kind of show. I like parenting things a lot. So this episode is basically, it starts off, Bart is dissecting a frog.
Yes.
And I really like the way that it starts, because it starts with frog heaven. You're like, where's this going?
Yeah.
And then it's just, it's two frogs being like, well, I just died, but thank goodness they donated my body to a good cause for science. And now there's going to be somebody dissecting my body and learning about the natures and the wonders of biology. And it's just Bart stabbing a frog. And I was like, that's a really funny way to set that out. And then so Bart is failing in school, and Marge is becoming really, really concerned that Bart is just a failure, that he's never going to make anything of himself. And
he's going to be licking coal.
He's going to be licking coal.
In the coal mines.
In the coal mines.
Coal taster.
Yeah, coal taster.
And so she goes on the internet for parenting advice, and she finds this parenting advice woman lady, and she invites her to come speak to all the parents of Springfield to give her advice about like this new parenting style. And basically this mom comes to Springfield and is like, your kids have low self-esteem. That's why they fucking suck. You need to give your kids more self-esteem by just giving them trophies for no reason. And this is kind of commenting on, a parenting strategy that was taken with millennials. That's pretty famous, where they were given trophies for no reason, whatever. So the
participation
awards. And so basically, Bart is just getting awards for everything that he does. And Homer decides to go into the trophy making business because all the parents are now picking up this parenting style of like, we're just going to give awards to kids for everything that they want. And Lisa's really upset about this because Lisa is a hard working student. She's a very talented girl. She's worked for every trophy that she got. So she does not like that people are just getting trophies for no reason. Bart, despite getting all these trophies, is still acting a fool. He's still being a little silly rascal.
Right. Yeah. Took the words right out of my face.
Your fucking face.
Absolutely.
And basically while Homer and Marge are talking about Bart, and they don't think that Bart is listening, and they basically are just like, wow, he's still a fucking piece of shit. Despite all this parenting, all this great parenting work that we're doing, he still sucks. And Bart like kind of loses his self-esteem. He's like, man, I guess I need to win the respect of my parents. And so he goes to his grandfather. And his grandfather is like, you know what, Bart, I don't care what your parents think. I think that I believe in you and I love you. And just to show you how much I love you, I'm giving you this very special time, this pocket watch that's been in our family for generations that your father always wanted. I'm giving it to you because I believe in you. And then because Bart was believed in by his grandfather, he like gets all this new self-esteem and he starts trying harder in school. He runs up a big mountain with his pocket watch because he has all this newfound self-esteem, but then he loses the watch, and then he loses his fucking mind. And then he also, oh my God, there's so much in this.
No, it's good. You're doing a great job.
Bart goes to Homer and shows that before he loses it, shows him that he has the watch.
Here's a trophy, Will.
And Homer is really upset that Bart gets the watch and not him from his dad. There's also like a through line that Bart's father or Bart's great-grandfather,
There's a generational trauma.
Homer's grandfather was like a professional child beater.
Yeah, a child choker, like,
which I thought was crazy and funny. But I guess this episode is about generational trauma, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, anyways, Homer really wants this timepiece. Bart got it, lost it. Homer finds it again. And Homer is about to rub it in Bart's face. Like, I knew you were an idiot. I knew you couldn't take care of this timepiece. I knew you were just a fuck up. But he doesn't. He goes up to Bart and he's like, I know that this meant a lot to you and it means a lot to me too, which is why I'm giving it to you. And he's in the end, he learns to be a good parent. And Bart really earned the award. And so did Homer. And they both learned that, you know, sometimes you're just going to be a piece of shit and there's nothing you can do about it because it's just from your family and you have to mend the trauma now that you realize it. Really great episode. There's also a point I just want to say before we go into acknowledgements. There's a point that's not funny, but I thought was really, really clever when Marge is talking to Lisa and Lisa's criticizing Marge for getting all these awards. And she's like, Marge, there's actually a new parenting style that I think you'd really like. She's like, who is it? Who's the new parent that I should listen to? And Lisa writes on a trophy, #1 mom. And Marge takes it, looks at it, and throws it into the trash can. She's like, interesting. And I thought that was really clever because she's like, Marge, you're the mother.
Yeah.
You're the mom with the parenting style that will work for me. And she just has no idea and just throws it away. I was like, that's really clever. So anyways, that's that episode. Sorry that took 40 years for me to explain all this.
It would have taken me twice as long. I'm not gonna lie. There was so much there, and you did it good.
And it would have taken me a fourth longer.
Fly like a bird.
Now it's unusable. It's unusable.
Okay.
Wait, was that a joke? The half date. No, never mind. Continue.
What?
You do your acknowledgments, Sam.
Yeah, do your acknowledgments.
Or Caroline, did you do yours?
Yeah.
Oh,
yours.
I can start with my. I really, really like this episode. The reason why I really like Succession is because it's about parenting. Something about parenting I always find interesting in comedies. Okay, so I thought that the opening with Frog Heaven was clever because
that Jamaican frog shit.
Yeah, really funny. Like, I hope he's doing a tasteful impression. No, it's not him doing it that's funny. It's the fact that they're like, I hope that it's tasteful, and it's just not. And it's like, well, they did the joke anyway. Like, they still did the joke. When Marge gets Bart's grades, she's like, we can't put this on the fridge. We can't even put this in the garage fridge. I was like, that's kind of funny.
Y'all had a garage fridge?
Bart,
that's crazy.
A garage fridge?
Yeah.
No, I just think that
I'm talking about The Simpsons. Like, y'all got a garage fridge.
People have basement fridges. It's not the show fridge. It's the behind the scenes fridge. Remember from the first episode, Homer, despite not working very hard, still has apparently 2 cars and 2 fridges.
That's wild.
That's the privilege. Bart doesn't know how to say society properly, and then Marge is like, you have to be able to succeed in society. And he's like, oh yeah, that guy. Or like he just doesn't. I thought that was funny. I don't remember what prompts this, but I think Lisa says to Homer, like, oh, I try not to tell you things. He's like, I love it when you don't tell me things. Or maybe it's Marge. Something about like him not hearing how people are feeling. And he's just like, I love it when you don't tell me things. I thought that was funny. There's a part where the parenting mom, is talking about a lab rat and how one of the lab rats was stupid and died, but one of the lab rats was really smart and it ended up in a lab in Harvard. And I thought that was funny.
That's funny. I missed that actually. That was funny.
Oh, trophies. So that's an easy answer. Basically, I just like when the people, I don't know. It was Mel House's mom. She's like, how do we raise our kids? Like, oh, trophies. Oh, that's an easy answer. That's what I'm going to do instead of parenting my child. Like the way that she delivered that was funny. You're the best around, when Homer is singing You're the best around instead of using the actual song. Oh, the China of China. They're talking about like where the trophies are made. The China of China, which is India. Thought that was funny. Excellent bias and loser shaming me. That was in the classroom. They're talking about like, don't loser shame me. And I thought that was funny.
Ralph who said that, I think.
Acronym logic, basically when they were like pointing out the guy that used it. I know that this is so out of context, but there's a guy that's making acronyms and they're like talking about acronym logic where he's like, why is it that in one of the acronyms of is not a part of the letters, but then the other one it is a part of the letters? And I was like, that's so dumb. I think that's funny. I thought that was funny. Cookie shot. Oh, whenever Homer gets upset, he just eats an entire sleeve of cookie dough. And I just thought that was funny. The number one mom thing. Who screwed you up? It was you. You're the one that screwed me up when Homer is talking to Bart. Giving up trying. I don't know what that means, but something about giving up trying made me laugh.
That's hilarious.
Sorry. I can't do acknowledgements well because it's all really contextual.
No, yeah, and a lot of it's more clever than like laugh out loud, like stupid 50-year squirts.
I prefer. Because I don't laugh I feel like the only time I laugh is if the performance is funny. Like, I'll laugh out loud if a performance is funny, but I'll acknowledge a lot of things that I think is clever. And with The Simpsons, I feel like a lot of stuff is clever.
That's what I'll say. Yeah, for this episode, I thought it was more clever than funny. Like, it's a great story. I enjoyed the like narrative of it all.
Yes.
But
Milhouse getting hit with rocks was also funny.
Sammy, do you want to do yours?
Yeah, I didn't have that many. This episode was whatever to me, unfortunately. I think the episode was just kind of like, in my head, it felt like someone trying to do an episode of The Simpsons, where it felt kind of weird to me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But I noted Bart saying natty dreads. So I didn't laugh at that.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah, yeah.
When they're in the seminar and they're talking like, I want to do this, I want to do this, and Mo yells a third thing to be part of the group. A trophy for what? Most boogers wiped on the bedroom wall. I think booger is a really funny word. So if you say booger, I'm gonna laugh. Officer Wiggum has a framed photo of Lou in his bathroom over his toilet, like his cop friend.
Oh,
Framed photo. I thought
over
that was
the
funny.
Lou.
Oh, that's good.
Any other ones?
The Lou. That's good.
What if that was the joke?
Maybe
That might be the joke.
Maybe.
Where's the
Was
Lou?
that all?
Millhouse's bruised face when it was on the security camera.
That
in
guy's
the
seen a lot of
pawn
life.
The pawn shop guy vapes after Homer leaves, and then the after credit scene. They got the commissioner of the NBA to the after credit scene.
I didn't see it. I stopped it.
Ralph gets drafted to the NBA because
he has so
he
many
has the most trophies ever.
It's really fun. Ralph is such a funny character.
It's funny because he's drafted as a power forward, even though he's 3 feet tall. That's like the second tallest position.
Yeah.
And he's drafted as a power forward, and they got the commissioner of the NBA. That was ridiculous. I think that was.
Is Ralph the little kid that's like stupid?
That's the cop's son. And the joke that I didn't want to explain in the beginning is Ralph is a really dumb kid. And he's wearing a cone in the beginning of the episode, and he's playing with dogs, and he's like, "Don't do that, man. Don't play with dogs." And he's like, "Well, you know what? He's really stupid for a kid, but he's actually very if your dog standards, a very smart
it's
dog.
above average dog."
Yeah. And then he does a roll. He like rolls over, and he's like, "Oh, no one saw that." I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Love Ralph.
That's it for your acknowledgement.
Yeah,
I wrote
think so.
down if you. Oh yeah, Marge, the coal taster bit,
I
which
wrote
is just
down
like
coal taster.
if you don't try hard in school, Marge is concerned for Bart is like, if you don't try hard in school, you could become like, and then a thought bubble comes up and it's like coal miner, like a bunch of coal miners,
muscular like mustache coal miner,
and then it pans to Bart who is like licking coal on the ground with his sign that says coal taster. He's like, ugh. I like that when Homer has an idea. A light bulb with a trophy that says best idea appears above his head. I like that the old people, they were playing chess with pills and
the Ativan. I guess I'll have a panic attack on the bathroom later.
Yeah. And the acronym, he's like, oh, he's got a word made of other words. He must know what he's talking about.
Yeah, acronym.
And the word is made of other words within that word.
Yeah. That's all. That's all for me.
That's what I would say.
I mean, honestly, I thought it was a bad episode, but hearing you explain it, I was like, wait, this is like it. Like the moral of the story is good, and it's a good story, like from beginning to end. Like it, I like the narrative.
I really like this episode of The Simpsons a lot, especially because like when I was younger, seeing Homer strangle Bart when I was younger really freaked me out. Like there was something about. Like when I used to watch the movie, there's a part of the movie where like he just chokes Bart for a really long time, and like hearing someone choke, because I heard a lot of people like having. Anyways, when I was younger, like that sound really freaked me out, and so the idea that they were like kind of making up for that or acknowledging why that happens, I was like, oh, that's really nice for The Simpsons. I really like this episode because it is just more clever than it is funny. But I tend to like that stuff a lot more, where I'm like, oh, that's funny on paper.
Let's move on.
Yeah, this was the random episode of The Simpsons. So now we're going on to the not so random episode of Futurama. But the episode of Futurama that I really liked when I was a kid, because my brother and I used to like saying snoo snoo.
Snoo snoo is hilarious.
And so it came from that episode.
Yes. Caroline or Sammy?
Sammy, why don't you explain it? Because it's not that complicated.
But if this was your specific episode of your request, so you should explain it.
I'll explain it because it's pretty simple. Basically, Leela and Amy go on a date with Captain Brad Zap Brannigan. Zap Brannigan and
who's like
Kip.
Who's like a total Chad.
He's just an absolute Chad, just an absolute numbskull, so bad with women. And Kip, his assistant, he's like very insecure and nervous to take Amy out on a date, but he actually is very sweet. So they go to dinner in the spaceship restaurant, and then Zap Brannigan just fucking tanks the date. And then he's like, I can steer this ship someplace, and for some reason, and then because
his singing was so bad that
everyone left.
Everyone
evacuated the ship, but it's still a ship that's a restaurant, which is also a joke in the show. And he flies the ship restaurant crash lands it into a planet that is overrun with like Amazons essentially, or like really, really big women in this like women-led society. And there's a lot of jokes about like a woman society. And for whatever reason, Fry and Bender, and who else? I think it's just them.
It was Fry, Bender, Kiff, Zap.
Yeah, it's just them.
Yeah.
So Fry and Bender go to save them. And then in this women-led society, they like round up all the men and like shackle them up. And they have like the society is run by a fem computer, or this like giant femputer. And femputer is like, we have to kill the men, but death by snoo snoo.
Death
so
by snoo
that was
snoo.
always funny. So snoo snoo means sex.
Which means sex, by the way.
And acknowledgement, the the skeletons with the broken pelvises, but the skeletons are like, I always thought was
Death
funny
by
when I was a
snoo
kid.
snoo.
So
This was a crazy episode.
yeah, it's a really weird episode, but basically the way that it ends is that the men are about to die because they're getting fucked to death, but Bender ends up going to the fem computer and then having sex with her, and then the femputer's like, actually, men aren't so bad because I like having sex, and then everyone's let go. And the way that it ends, they're like, isn't it interesting that the battle between the sexes was or the tension between the sexes was alleviated by men and women like falling in love? And I was like, oh, that's true. That's cute. I like that. I like that little acknowledgement. So anyways, that's the episode. It's just big women want to fuck the men to death, and it's funny.
Yeah. Do you want to do your acknowledgements?
Sure.
Agamish.
I just there's so much. This is a Caroline heavy episode.
Yes.
Yes.
What? So I molted. Why not? I don't know why. The way that Zoidberg in this episode molts his shell and comes in like all slimy.
Yeah.
And the way that he says, "So I molted. Why not?" I thought it was really funny.
I think it said his why not.
I wrote, "What even are you drinking?" Kip being like so nervous around Amy reminded you being like, "What is it that you're even drinking right now?"
I knew this. I knew this was gonna happen. Don't. No. I knew the second I saw that. I'm like, they're gonna be like, "Well, this is you."
Well, no, I didn't think it wasn't that bad. Honestly, it really wasn't that bad. But it did remind me, because it did remind me of that, where it was like, "What even is it that you're drinking?"
Damn.
I find that offensive. There's a part where Bender, for whatever reason, is like, I find that offensive, but then like the thing, like a part of him just like falls to the ground, and it was so loud and fast that it made me laugh. Like, I don't know why that made me laugh. There's a part where the women are like showing the men their society, and they're like, we have women's basketball, and they're like, we can't dunk, but it's more about the fundamentals, and it's fun to watch. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I liked how it was like they were making fun of like women's basketball. Like, did you tell them that it's more about the fundamentals that makes up for the fact that they can't dunk? Like that was the
I just thought that was like, I was like, that's kind of, it's funny. And then they were talking about like comedy too, where they were like, comedy doesn't just have to be like random or absurd. It can be like situational based. It can be more like emotional. And they were like, poop, fart, fuck you. And I was
funny because this video was this episode was kind of random.
It's so random. No, that's why I think it's so funny. And the skeletons basically were like, how did the last guys die here? And they were like, death by snoo snoo. And then they just cut to like skeletons that look super happy and their pelvises are just shattered. Okay, there's a line that you guys will not find this funny and you're going to be disappointed that I found it funny, but it's probably one of the only things that made me laugh out loud. It's when they're like, death by snoo snoo, and Kip is like, oh, and Zap just goes, what are you, gay? And I was like, that joke, you could never have that joke now. And it wasn't funny when they wrote it, but it made me laugh so hard. What are you, gay? Just not funny, but it made me laugh. I love that stuff.
You could have that joke now because Zap is an asshole, but it's like that was very product of its time joke.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just so not funny that I think it's just another like.
I thought it was funny.
Fuck Zap. There's a TV, and the logo is clearly Sony, but it's called Sonia, which I thought was funny because it's a female society. Oh, there's a part where Bender goes interface with my ass, and I thought that line was funny. I love that the femputer, the voice is just clearly a guy, like it's clearly a man's voice, and the man voice is just so funny, like femputer. Just that's funny.
Is it?
Wait, what?
It's the voice actor's a guy.
Oh.
There's a point where the femputer, Bender makes a Bender is inside the femputer with the fembot.
Yeah.
And then he like uses the microphone to like give everybody an order. And she goes, "You heard the man." And I was like, that's clever. And then the end, like the fact that the tension between the sexes is resolved by like two of the sexes falling in love with each other. I was like, that's funny, that's cool. So anyways, so that was all my
Sammy?
Say J. Crew. He gets his new thing from J. Crew, but it's J. Crab. Zoidberg, he's like ordering something and it's J. Crab instead of J. Crew. They were hiding when Fry and Bender go to save or no, wait, who goes? I think it's someone. They go to the Amazonian area. I think it is Fry and Bender, but they're not there to save anybody. They're just there like trying to figure out where the fuck they are.
Yeah.
They're hiding in like brush.
Yeah.
But it's some big ass woman's skirt. They're hiding in her skirt and she just started beating the shit out of them with a club. Zap getting beat up and he's like, "Oh God, you're killing me." And they keep beating up. He's like, "Oh God, you're killing me." One of the women is like, "Here live vengeful, all-knowing leader." Fry goes, "Is she hot? That not important. She all-knowing." In other words, no. But then she punches him and he goes, "Ah!" Every time the femputer would say, "That does not fempute," every like little fempute, like femputations. After lengthy femputations, that was funny. Zap asks one of them to slap his ass, but she punches him in his ass. And like the image of someone punching someone in their ass because it like engulfs in the ass cheek meat, and it's like the sound effect was just so funny.
Too hard.
Take them to the snoo chamber and them going.
That's so stupid.
For the audio listeners, maybe you can interface with my ass by biting it. Do you have any idea how it feels to be a fembot living in a man-bot, man-puter's world? Bender going, "What?" She moves on. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yes. I noticed a theme, or at least in the 3 episodes that we watched, none of them passed, what is it, the Bechdel
test.
The Bechdel test?
Yeah, it's women always talking about men.
Yeah, like this one, the entire thing is like, like the only role of like the women characters is to like go on a date with a man, or like they want to have sex.
There's
with
a
the
lot
man.
of that.
And in the Christmas episode, the only like it seemed like Leela's like didn't have a lot of lines, but like one of them was like "You want me to put my what against the glass?"
Yeah,
and it's like her boobs. Yeah. And then in the third one that we haven't talked about, they were just like oil wrestling, like
for no
reason. They were just the two women in the show were just
and it's funny
wrestling in oil.
Leela's character is supposed to be like the strong woman, and it feels like in every episode they're trying to like break down her archetype, which is like I'm the strong captain woman. So I feel like they definitely do it on purpose. And Amy is like you haven't seen it in these episodes, but like she's just kind of like a ditzy whore. I mean, like not a whore, but genuinely like that's like that's the way to describe it. It's like they make it intentional that she's like pretty over the top.
So all of this is just like which is just crazy, and also the way that the huge women are built.
Yeah, thickums, but roided out thickums.
Yes,
they corn fed.
I like how I don't know if I'm gonna be able to explain this. Just the Chad dude, Zap or whatever. They're negotiating on how many dates to go on.
10.
and he's like 10. He starts at 10 and she's like 0, 10, 0, 9, 0. And he's like 5. That's my final offer. 4. Like before she even says no. There's a quote I find the most like a pickup. This is supposed to be a pickup line in a pickup line book that he gave to the little alien. I found the most erotic part of a woman is the boobies. That's the pickup line. That's the pickup
line. He tries that on one of the Amazonians. He's like, I find that the most erotic part of a woman is the boobs.
I like how after the ship crashes into a planet, the Fry, what's his name? Fry is like worried. He's like, where are they? Like, let's call him. And they call him and it goes to voicemail. And the voicemail is like, doo doo doo. The number you have dialed has crashed into a planet. And he's like, I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Snoo is just hilarious.
It's a lovely line. Snoo snoo, death by snoo snoo.
Death by snoo snoo, and that's all.
Yeah.
I thought
It's an okay episode.
it's an okay episode. It was just like I just thought it was crazy. It was just like, the whole thing is just that they're like, there are no men around, so they're like lining up. The women are like lining up to have sex with this like alien guy because he's the most handsome man in the fucking universe.
That was so funny to me when I was a kid. It's not as funny now, but that one was funny to me.
Thanks for the recommendation, Caroline.
Yeah, I love Futurama. I really do. Even though I don't think it is as funny as The Simpsons, I still think
The Simpsons.
The Simpsons. Limsa.
I don't even remember what
Simpsons.
I said. Oh, look at Sammy having fun building over there.
Okay, so let's move on because we're nearing the end. This is the best rated episode of Futurama and the best rated episode of The Simpsons. And I was surprised that wait, is it the best rated?
Yes.
The highest rated on IMDb.
It's funny that this is the highest rated episode, but I guess
For which show?
The Simpsons.
Yeah.
I guess it's good commentary. Like this is a very like, I don't know, American theme. Like the American dream, and some Americans at a certain point in American history can just like not give a shit, not work hard, and still have a garage refrigerator in addition to their show refrigerator.
Yeah. So
I thought this episode was fucking hilarious.
Sammy, why don't you describe?
I think I
explain the
laughed
episode.
30 times at this. This episode just conceptually was so fucking funny. So it starts with the show setting up this new character named Frank Grimes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a documentary about like the most unlucky guy on the planet.
Yeah.
His life sucks. His parents suck. Everything about him sucks, but he still ended up persevering and being able to be successful. He graduated college with a nuclear physics degree. He was able to pick his life back up.
Yep.
So that starts the episode. That sets the groundwork for the episode. Then the episode actually starts with Smithers and Mr. Burns like, we need a new guy.
The boss of a nuclear company.
The boss of the nuclear plant. He's like, we need he was watching the documentary. What is his name? Burns.
Yeah, Mr. Burns.
The
and
Simpsons
Smithers
has so many characters.
Yeah, but you
I've
do
noticed,
remember them.
Yeah, which is interesting that even some of the smaller characters, I'm like, oh, that's this guy.
That's Ralph Wiggum. I'm like, wait, why do I know that? Burns is looking at the documentary and he's like, Smithers, come here. I need you to get this man so he can be my next vice president.
Yeah.
And Smithers is like, okay, Mr. Burns. He leaves. He brings Frank Grimes. And Burns is watching a video of like a dog like saving himself from like a creek or something.
Yeah.
And Smithers is like, Burns, fuck! Burns tells Smithers, I need you to find this dog and make him my vice president. And Smithers is like, but sir, here's Frank Grimes. Who? Frank Grimes, the one you... Oh, yeah, place him somewhere and find me that dog.
Yeah.
So this episode, effectively, is about Frank Grimes, who's a hard-working, blue-collar man, works hard, got everything from the grime and dirt. Grimes.
Yeah.
He's grimy. He works in the nuclear power plant where Homer works, and he's the worst employee, the stupidest guy ever. He's so stupid. And Frank... This episode is called... what is it called?
Homer's Enemy.
Homer's Enemy. Frank and Homer become enemies because Frank is so mystified by how Homer has gotten all of these different things in his life and how everything in his life has gone so correct. But Frank, through all his hard work and passion,
lives on top of
two bowling alleys, single bedroom apartment,
Yeah.
and he just can't quite figure it out. And no one in Springfield sees this.
Yeah.
Everyone loves Homer. Homer's awesome. They give him breaks, but Frank can't catch a break. That's the episode. This episode is so funny because Frank ends up like trying to make everyone think that Homer's stupid like he does, and he goes to such lengths to be like, don't we see? Homer's stupid, right? And they're like, come on, Frank, lighten up on the guy. And Frank's like, what? What are you talking about? This, I guess maybe I haven't watched enough TV, but I've never seen an episode where they put like literally a normal guy. Literally, like, imagine this in like Family Guy. Like all the hijinks of Family Guy. They put like a regular dude and they're like, Peter's stupid, right? Everyone's like, what? Meg, Meg, Peter be bullying your ass, right? And Meg's like, what the fuck? Who the fuck are you? And they're like, what are you talking about? I thought I was on your team, bro. It's like when you enter someone else's clique and there's like the clique punching bag. Like there's a clique and then there's the punching bag. You enter, you're the new clique. And you're like, yeah, fuck Johnson, right? And everyone's like, you don't know Johnson like we know Johnson. We hate Johnson. But who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
That was this episode. And I was crying for like most of this episode because seeing this guy's descent into madness. It's like, we hate Homer, right? You guys hate him. You guys just said you hate him. Yeah, but not like that, bro. You gotta chill, bro. That was hilarious.
And then,
do you find yourself in that position a lot? Like being the normal guy and then going into situations where you're like, how is no one seeing that this individual is absolutely insane and just getting away with it?
No, but if I am, I'm never trying to get people on my side.
Yeah, you're just sort of like,
because I know the like.
Looking at the camera.
You're just a real person.
I'm Jim. I know the clique thing where like you enter that clique and you see the weirdo, but you don't know him like they know him, so you can't make the same jokes. I know that, so I know like I'm not gonna make fun of this guy. I don't know him.
Sure.
You know, there's a dynamic to everything, and Frank didn't realize there's a dynamic to The Simpsons. Get your ass up out of here. We don't know you, Frank.
And then at the end, he's like, "Oh, look, I'm Homer, right? Oh, I'm Homer."
Wait. I'll save that because it's funny what happens at the end.
Okay.
So we can go. You can go to your acknowledgments.
Me?
Yes.
What?
Because I have 30.
I thought it was a sad episode.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have many like specific acknowledgments, but I just liked that there's a normal fucking guy who's like what, like, you guys see what's going on? Like you said it perfectly. Do you know when he's like, do you know who chewed my pencils? And there's like Homer has pencils in every hole of his body, in his like all over him, all over the desk, one in his ear. When Frank was like, I'd appreciate if you would stay out of my office, and then Homer's like, wish I had a nickel for every time I heard that. I thought that was funny. The alarm starts going off in Homer's office, and Frank's like, oh, you got a 513. And Homer looks at his watch and he's like, or looks at his watch, like the time.
I have that right.
And
there.
then
But he does it again.
Yeah. And Frank's like, no, like on the control panel. Look at his watch again. Something's going wrong, and oh yeah, right after this, Homer's like, oh, let me fix it, and he just starts pouring water all over everything. The pan to Frank's face was fucking hilarious.
This episode felt like, animation is awesome, love animation, but this episode felt like a sitcom episode. It felt like an episode of like Friends.
I like when Homer's saying that he's gonna make a change and start being more professional, and he's like, to professionalism, and chugs a beer. I thought that was funny. And him trying to be more professional, when he first talks to Frank, he's like, maybe we can, I can't wait to keep doing our job and such. Sincerely, Homer Simpson. Like ending a sentence with sincerely Homer Simpson. I thought it was funny. Oh, and then there's also a B plot where Bart buys a factory.
Oh yeah,
for $1.
For $1. It's like $2. Or no, oh yeah. Oh yeah. The delivery of when he was selling the factory of like the dude who's doing the auction voice is like, but he's so bad at it. He's like $1, $1 for $2.
I'm gonna go to the doctor and somebody go I was talking about $2 and sold to the guy in the back.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
Oh, cool. What'd I buy?
He buys a factory, and then at the end he has like Milhouse like keeping like the only employee of the company, so he's doing like every job, and he's the security guard, and he's like, well, this is my life now as a security guard. And it cuts back and the entire factory is just rubble. And Bart's like, what happened?
Your night watch.
He's like, I saw the whole thing happen. First it started falling over and then it fell over. I thought that was funny.
Your night watch. I was watching. I watched it happen.
Yeah. Those were my acknowledgments. I thought, yeah, there were some good jokes. Caroline?
In the intro, which is separate from the show, like they always do a little gag for the intro. Bart is like a channel.
He's green.
Yeah, and the way that like Homer hits him to change the channel, like the animation for that, I thought was really funny.
Yeah. I also marked the couch gags too for each one.
Are you busy? And like, sorry, he comes in to Homer and he's like, "Are you busy?" And Homer's like, "Yes," but he's just spinning around in his chair. I was like, "That's funny."
Yeah.
He's asking if he can have one of his pencils. And he's like, no. He's like, "Can Lenny have one of your pencils?" He's like, "No." I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
I have the 5 with 13. Oh, there's a part where he's like, "Homer, we're enemies now." And Homer's like, "Oh, do I have to do anything for that?" And he's like, "No." And I thought that was very funny.
That's funny.
This joke, what?
I was just gonna say quickly, like, I don't know how they do, like, thinking of 32 seasons of like kind of the same dumb guy joke for humor. For Homer is like kind of crazy to me.
But I think that's why I really liked the parenting episode, is because I think that they are making him smarter in a way. Like they are going over everything, but they're still keeping him stupid. Like that. Yeah. That's why I really liked that episode. This joke I genuinely thought was hilarious. Like so much funnier than it should be. But Homer is introducing his children, and he's like, "This is Lisa. She has an IQ of 156." And she goes, "Hi." And he goes, "See?" I was like, what? I thought that was so funny, that delivery. And then, they're at the funeral, and at Grimes's funeral, and Homer is sleeping, and he thinks it's so boring, and he goes to Marge, and he's like, "Can you change the channel?" And I thought that was funny.
Wait. I'll get to that. Yes, I'll get to it now. At the very end, him dead asleep, making the funeral about himself. Like, he's drooling. He's like, "Marge, can you change the channel?" Yeah. Everyone at the funeral is like, "Oh, Homer, you're awesome. We love Homer."
That was so sad and so funny.
At Frank Grimes' funeral.
Yeah. Which,
tragic character. Really tragic character.
Frank Grimes, I didn't think he was going to, So, because I think I acknowledged literally every joke in this. Every single time, Frank's like voice actor, because he'd go like, what?
yeah.
Like
he was
a really good voice actor
like, for this role.
He's are you kidding? And they're like, "What do you mean, Frank?" They could like grunt session for him.
Yeah.
So Homer, I didn't even know what a nuclear panner plant was, and Frank goes, well, yeah.
No, his voice acting was so funny the whole time.
Bart bidding the buck, and then the auctioneer just like talking gibberish.
Yeah.
You have 35 Industry Way. Homer goes, "Hey, you Stretch, what's the good word?" Frank goes, "My name is Grimes, Simpson. Frank Grimes. I took the trouble to learn your name. The least you could do is learn mine."
Yeah.
Frank goes, "You're eating my special dietetic lunch." I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Dietetic lunch. That just means like you're on a diet.
Yeah.
Like he's just eating my lunch. Homer pours the water on the control. His face made me scream. When Homer almost accidentally drinks the acid, he's reaching for his Coke, and Frank's going,
I almost wrote down the noises he made for that too.
He smacks it. It burns the wall, and Smithers walking like this, like he's pretending to be Donkey from Shrek. He's like, "Who did this to my wall?" And Frank goes, I guess me. Technically. And then he's like, "Come here."
Yeah.
And in that scene, there's a dog barking, insinuating that Burns did hire the dog to be his vice president.
Yeah. And it sounded like the dog was barking, telling him to leave the office.
Yeah, the dog was going in.
And then he walks out of the office.
Yeah. Frank, from now on, we're enemies. Homer, do I have to do anything? Frank's eye twitches, and he goes, and then he just leaves.
So funny.
The IQ joke was funny. When Frank goes in his house, and the reason I laughed at this too was I guess I didn't think about how Homer's house is awesome.
Yeah.
Like they have a cool house. He's like, "Wait, what the fuck? This is a palace.
Yeah.
You have all this space." And what was even funnier to me was that Homer invites Frank over to dinner to like apologize for like making his life miserable.
Yeah.
So Marge cooks 5 lobsters.
Yeah.
So Frank comes in thinking that lobster is their normal dinner. Yeah. Frank is like, "You have this big ass house, and is that lobster I smell?" And Homer's like, "Huh, what?" And then Frank goes to the wall, and he's like, "What are all these pictures?" Homer's like, "Yeah, this is my wall of stuff." is this you with Gerald Ford? Yeah. And this is me with the Smashing Pumpkins. And this is my Grammy. And Frank's like,
that was so funny.
You have these beautiful kids. You have this beautiful wife. You have this awesome house. And you're a fucking idiot. I live over a bowling alley, which is above another bowling alley, in a 1-bedroom apartment. And he goes in. And he's like, his final line, if you lived in any other country, you would have starved to death a long time ago. Pause. Well, he got you there, Dad.
Yeah.
That was funny.
It's true.
Bart, cut to Bart at his factory. Bart's looking at all the stuff. He's like, this is awesome because it's mine. He goes to the corner. There's adding machines. Milhouse is like, adding machines. Industrial waste. You know what we should do, right? They put the adding machines in the waste and just watch it disintegrate.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. Bart yelling at Milhouse to tell him to get back to work with the megaphone. And then they do like, Wacky Shack. I don't know what the fuck Wacky Shack is, but they just like sway around a big fucking thing. Wacky Shack. Homer, oh, this was funny. Homer doesn't want to go to work because he's embarrassed because he doesn't want to see Frank Grimes. So Marge comes out. Homer's sitting there at the car, like at the steering wheel. And Marge is like, Homer, what are you doing? He's like, the car won't start. I don't feel very good today. I am at work. And Marge is like, no, you're not. And Homer's like, yes, I am. That's crazy talk, Marge. That's crazy talk. You're crazy, Marge. Honk, honk. Get out the road. Still parked in the driveway. The noise Homer made when Marge asked him to be more professional in his work, he went like, guys.
I wrote that down too.
What do you have against Homer anyway? Oh, Frank is complaining to Carl and Lenny.
Yeah.
And Carl's like, what do you have against Homer anyway? Frank's like, are you kidding? Does this whole plant have some disease where they can't see he's an idiot?
Yeah.
They're like, whoa, cool it, man. Yeah. Homer backs into Frank's car. So Frank, to try to convince them that Homer's like a child. He has a child brain. There's a children's like build a power plant flyer. He cuts out all the stuff that says children, puts it in Homer's office, and he's like, I'll build a power plant. I'm gonna go build one. Gets in his car. Frank from the window's like, oh, I got you now. Homer just backs into his car, and Frank's like, more grunts.
The noises.
Bart's factory getting destroyed was funny. Frank is like, what's to explain? He's an idiot. When he wins the competition, the power plant competition. Frank, what you said, Frank his psyche breaks and he pretends to be Homer Simpson. He's like, look, I'm Homer Simpson. I eat donuts. I do this. Yeah. I'm Homer Simpson. Time to go home to my mansion and eat my lobster. I'm Homer Simpson. Look at this. This says don't use gloves when you touch this. I'm Homer Simpson.
And he
dies.
He dies. Yeah.
He fucking dies. That's Homer's enemy.
And that's the entire character of Frank Grimes. He enters.
Such a tragic
he dies because he can't be Homer. Oh, look at me, I'm Homer.
Yeah, he has to work hard because he can't survive anyway. This Futurama episode, even though it's the highest rated, I feel like is a very simple episode to get through. And when I first watched it when I was a kid, I cried.
That was so fucking sad.
Yeah.
To me,
and they just end the episode.
Yeah, I was not expecting that episode to end like that.
I knew it was going to be this episode,
but
too.
it was so fucking sad.
Yeah, I think a lot of people cry watching this episode. That's why it's the highest rated.
And it went on. The ending scene went on for like a little too long, and I was like, oh, like
so
stop.
Let's explain what it is. Basically, Fry goes to a museum in the future, and it's this pizza parlor. It's like an old pizza parlor that's been preserved. And part of the artifacts is this, like, the mummy of a dog. And he's like, oh, my God, this is my dog from back then.
Yeah.
And we get to see, like, him find the dog and play with the dog. And the dog really loves Fry.
In the past. It's like a flashback to when they first met. And they were best friends.
Fry is like, oh, can we, like, bring my dog back to life? There's some other hijinks that goes on with him and Bender. But basically at the end of it, he's like, wow, the dog, I only knew him for 3 years, but the dog lived to be, like, 15. So it had like 12 years without me. He probably forgot about me. I probably shouldn't bring him back to life because it moved on. But then it cuts to basically once Fry is in the cryogenic chamber, we just see the dog wait for him outside the pizza parlor, waiting for Fry to come back. And Fry doesn't come back. And you just see over the years this dog waiting. Yeah. And then he just lays down and he dies. And then they just end the episode like that. and I cried like a baby when I first watched it. I'm sure a lot of people did. I knew it would be the highest rated episode because it's just really, it's really interesting.
Yeah,
that
especially with like,
No, continue.
I was gonna say, especially with like, it was all of the hassle, like to try to bring the dog back to being alive. Like Bender had to like jump into a pit of lava to like get it back alive. And the second they're about to bring him back alive, he's like, oh, 15. I only knew him for 3 years. Like there was 12 years that he was alive and I was gone. Like he probably had a new owner. He probably had like a new family that loved him.
Yeah.
And then just seeing that he just waited for him the entire time.
It's an interesting way to point out like how irresponsible it must have been for Fry, or like to really talk about the consequences of going into the future, because it's such a wacky premise. But like I like that this episode kind of highlights what are the practical implications of just disappearing like that. And maybe like if you know Futurama, and in this episode you kind of see it, his parents don't really care. His parents are pretty oblivious. Everyone doesn't really care about Fry.
No one really liked Fry.
But the only person that loved Fry was this dog and just waited for him and waited for him. And
yeah, that was, and I thought it was so fucking stupid that because Fry fell into a cryogenic freezer.
Yeah, that's the first episode.
Yeah, and you see the dog find Fry in the cryogenic freezer and start like barking at him like, "Ruff, ruff, ruff." And his parents come and are like, "What are you doing here in this cryogenic freezer? Like, we're trying to find Fry." And Fry is right fucking there.
Yeah.
Literally just look up and he's right there. He's like, "Whoa,
Wisconsin.
come on, dog. Let's go find Fry."
You watch football.
He's like, "Arr, arr." That was so stupid. I didn't like that. I didn't think it was funny.
Yeah.
Sammy,
But now his life is maybe better now because he has his friends Bender, Leela, Hermes.
He has purpose now
Zoidberg.
as a delivery driver boy again.
Yeah.
But in space.
But in space with
But
Leela.
that poor dog. Anyway.
Yeah, so that's
Seymour Butts. Or was it Seymour Asses actually?
Seymour
let me
Asses.
run through some jokes real quick. That was funny.
Okay, run us some jokes.
There's a lot of stuff.
I like the Dolomite joke. That's a reference to a movie.
I liked that in the museum of the artifacts there was like a what's it called, a pizza paddle, and they said it was used like scientists have concluded that it was used in the past to gently discipline the delivery boy, and it was just like this dude with his pants down getting spanked, and then Fry's like gets really close to him while he's like getting spanked, and I forget what he does, but he's like, wait, and he grabs his hat or something. I thought that was funny. And he said, "Oh, it's the dog, the dog's bones in the museum." And I forget who says it, but someone's like, "That's the least appetizing calzone I've ever seen."
I think that was Bender that said that.
Yeah, that was funny. Was he named Seymour because someone called the
Seymour
pizza?
Butts.
Yeah. Someone called
And
the
the guy
pizza
was
place.
like, "You must be an idiot if you think that this is like a real person."
Because then the dog comes up and he's like, as far as Mr. Panucci's concerned, you're Seymour.
Oh.
And so then he's Seymour. That's a really cute way to get a name for a dog.
Yeah, because someone called the pizza place, I guess it was like a prank call or something. It was like pizza, they ordered the pizza for Seymour Asses.
Yeah.
He's like, no.
I didn't get that joke as a kid, and I would repeat it often because I didn't understand it.
I liked, he was talking to Seymour. He's like, "I like how you're always waiting right here for me, just like that giant mushroom in my shower." I thought that was funny. The Robo Puppy was funny.
Oh my
God.
Robo
I have a
Puppy
lot of the
preparing
Robo
cheek
Puppy.
lick. Robo Puppy commencing cheek
Receiving
lick.
petting is so funny.
Commencing 2-hour yipping session. Yip, 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 yip.
I liked they cut to some scene in the like cryogenicist's office or something, and one of the dudes is like, "I am one hungover cryogenicist." I thought that was a funny line. Yeah, there were a couple more, but we got to wrap things up.
I'll do very quickly.
Yeah.
Fry says, "Live long and prosper," and then he does not do the like hand signal correctly. I thought that was funny. Fry doing the hustle, I thought was funny. Zoidberg with human feet sticking out. There's like a magic trick that he's doing,
yeah.
and it's like the one where you like cut the assistant in half, and it's like Zoidberg and then like human feet on the other end.
Yeah,
That's funny. There's a point where the professor has like a dial for all the animals.
I wrote that one.
And it's like the dog says moo, and he goes, "Oh, this might take a while."
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. That's not a reputable news outlet. It's like the Daily Bark or whatever. It's a dog toy. Robo Puppy receiving petting and abuse detected, I thought was funny from the Robo Puppy.
Yeah.
Dog brain cat scan. I thought that we need to scan the dog brain with a CAT scan. I thought that was really funny. And then I just wrote that I remember crying at this episode when I was younger.
Yeah. Couple things. Lassie is in the Louvre, and then Fry was like, I know, I was deliberately describing a similar situation.
I was referencing
He's like,
that.
that's like Lassie's in the Louvre. He is in the Louvre. I know, I'm just describing that. He's so cute, he could do 2 things at the same time. Eat and swim. Oh, 3 things.
Yeah.
Ben Beeler. I don't know why I wrote that. He had wet dog smell even when dry. Bender beating Zoidberg with the magic stick, and Zoidberg saying stop. Bender, because Bender doesn't like Seymour. He grabs a trash can and he's like, he finds the like Seymour. He's like, I got Seymour, and Bender's like, yeah, and he's looking for a garbage can to put the rock in. Here you go, buddy.
Yeah. I thought that was a good line.
Bender's tears were turned into balloons. Then doves flied out of his eyes, and then his head turned into flowers. The professor said there's dog nougat in the chest. That's gross. Why'd you give me a subscription to the Daily Growl? That's not a reputable journal of opinion.
Yeah.
Are you on the junk? Are you on the junk, Fry? Like he's on drugs.
Yeah.
Are you on the junk? Bender, this has nothing to do with you. That's impossible. Good news, everyone. The Clonomat is ready. When he appears as a hologram.
Yeah.
Good news, everyone. The Clonomat is ready.
Good
They're
news.
like, oh, okay. Observe the lava's effect on this ice swan. Of course, that would have melted at room temperature. I just wanted to get rid of it. Smash the smart guy's machine.
Yeah.
Fry's breaking his machine.
Yeah.
That's it.
Overall, comparing the 2 shows as a whole, I thought that The Simpsons has better morals and better. It's more of a family show to me.
Better writing.
It's more like I thought the Futurama is more absurd and like sexual jokes and like like crude,
raunchier.
Yeah, it's raunchier, which I think I like because I don't think the Simpsons could pull off 50-year squirts. But then again, like I don't think Futurama could like tell a story. Have like I thought
this is the closest one, that episode with the dog. There's a couple others.
Yeah, that was like, but even throughout it, I was like, where's this going? But yeah, the set, it was really, This
is so weird, but the only other episode I know of Futurama that has a really good story is the one where Leela finds out she has parents because she thinks that she's an orphan. And this is so weird, but your parents in the BFT world reminds me of her parents. Like we'll watch it and you'll be like, oh, I kind of
real parents?
This. Yeah, your real parents.
I would laugh more. I laughed more at Futurama. The Simpsons is like, I could see how that being like a comfort show. Like if that was on as like a kid, it would probably have like done good things, not good things for my development, but like
it's sweet.
It's cute. I thought The Simpsons, it was cute.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I loved Futurama way more when I was a kid because it was more absurd, and I'd be like, beetles that are big, that are cow shaped, that's hilarious. Or Bender being like, eat my ass. I'm like, that's so funny. They don't say that on The Simpsons. But I was like, I could obsessively watch The Simpsons and really, really get into it. I would say that again, I think the writing is more clever on The Simpsons, and I think that the characters are better. No, not better, but they're interesting in a different way. Futurama is really good because the characters are so cartoonish that they're fun.
Yeah, that's what it is,
and it's absurd. But like, I would say that I prefer Futurama in a nostalgic way, but I think that The Simpsons are better.
I know this might be controversial, but
what?
I think they're funny. Both the shows are funny.
They're both funny.
Yeah, and I think they're good shows.
Yeah.
How controversial, Sammy?
Of this is?
This has been going on for 2 hours.
Yeah, that's actually kind of nuts. It's 12:30.
Yeah,
fly like a bird.
That's unusable. Could bleep that out.
No, don't blame that.
Let's do. All right, iCarly and Victorious. Did you guys watch your episodes?
Yeah.
All right,
let's start out with the one. So basically,
Spencer
is a baby inside of a baby carriage, and they're trying to feed it to him, and it's kind of gross because he keeps throwing up.
Gotta keep talking and talking.
Well, no. I watched iParty with Victorious.
Yeah,
and that was
that's the one we have to watch too.
We did watch. You said you watched it. The episodes.
I didn't have a chance.
Guys,
Sam
let
puts
us know
butter
what shows...
into a sock and then like talks about it being like her beating thing, and I always thought that was really funny. And then Freddie's mom shows up and she's like, "What's going on? I'm Freddie's mom."
Let us know.
I know.
Let's
you see. So
let us know in the comments if you like this style of podcast. Let us know what you want to see. We've done a lot of different kind of shit in the hypothetical nonsense, but I think this kind of series, as it's been going with this one and the last one, has been fun, and it's also longer, and you guys seem to like the last one. But let us know if you want to see us keep doing it, and if so, what shows, and if not, what else? What have you liked that we do? Because we've done brackets, we've done tier lists, we've done games that I make up. We do bullshit.
Shut up! I'm trying. You don't appreciate me and everything that I do for the show. I do nothing for the show. Thanks for watching.